I think that millennials and Gen Z are doughy soy boys for the most part. And that's why they're entitled. That's why they cry and complain. That's why they vote for ridiculous policy that makes no sense. That's why California is now proposing reparations, despite the fact California is a free state and has always been a free state. It was admitted as a free state. And the best part is you only have to identify as black. You don't have to actually be. It's crazy, isn't it?
So Rachel Dolezal.
She would qualify if she lived there.
Okay.
So if Rachel Dolezal lived in San Francisco for 13 years and had a family member that was incarcerated due to the war on drugs, she would qualify for the $5 million. None of it makes any sense. These people need to experience a cold winter where someone comes in and says, it's time to chop wood or we freeze to death. And then they can realize what a good day of hard work really means and why you should not steal from other people.
Wilderness survival camp?
Well, I don't know. All I'm saying is these are people who are voting to steal from people. They're saying that the reparations are going to cost $600,000 per family in San Francisco to cover the cost of the reparations. So what they're doing is they're saying if you identify as black, not if you are, and you're over 18, you then have to qualify for 2 of 8 different criteria. One of which is you're the descendant of somebody who was enslaved in the United States, despite the fact that California is a free state. One of them is have a descendant or yourself be incarcerated due to the war on drugs, which is nebulous. What does that even mean?
But they're
I went to jail for marijuana, so
they're still putting people away for using drugs in California.
Well, that's one box checked. And then if so, what was the other one? You have to be incarcerated or have a family member who was incarcerated. And then what was the other one I just said? It's like
lived in San Francisco for a certain amount of time.
13 years. So you could intentionally get arrested on a drug charge, go serve a little bit of time, get out and be like $5 million.
Yes.
Amazing.
If you lived in SF for at least 13 years.
Amazing.
And you
identify as black for at least 10 years and are over 18, then
that is a get rich scheme. That's amazing.
I don't know if they're actually going to do it.
I hope they don't. It doesn't.
I hope they do. I absolutely hope they do.
Since I've moved out, I'm kind of like burn it all down. I feel very bitter about what they did to California. I'm like, go ahead and burn.
When did you leave?
We moved in September. We moved to Austin, Texas.
What city were you in?
LA. Briefly for a little bit of time in Newport Beach, which is a really nice area, but same tax rates, everything else, and it was creeping in.
This is why. Oh, what's the last thing you said?
Everything else about California was creeping in.
These reparations, you might think it's going to repair something, which is what the word reparation is supposed to entail, but it's going to create many more problems. If you take $600,000 from one family and then give it to another family, the government does that. You don't think that's going to create animosity between the people that got $600,000 taken?
Especially when it's going to bankrupt the city no matter what, even if you take money away from someone else. So you are hurting everyone who's there and giving wealth to some people just to create a city where it's chaos. I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
All right, so I got it right here. Here's the list. You must be an individual who has identified as black or African American on public documents for at least 10 years. You must be at least 18 years or older. Then you must also meet 2 of these 8 criteria and be able to prove it. Born in San Francisco between 1940 and 96 and have proof of residency for at least 13 years. Migrated to SF between 1940 and 1996 and have proof of residency for at least 13 years. Personally, or the direct descendant of someone incarcerated by the failed war on drugs. Record of attendance in San Francisco public schools during the time of the consent decree to complete desegregation within the school system. Descendant of someone enslaved through U.S. chattel slavery before 1865. Displaced or the direct descendant of someone displaced. Listed or the direct descendant of a certificate of preference holder or a member of this one's great. Member of an historically marginalized group that experienced lending discrimination in San Francisco between 1937 and 1968, or subsequently experienced lending discrimination in the formerly redlined San Francisco communities between 1968 and 2008. Basically, it's extremely easy to qualify for the reparations program. So let's break it down. Rachel Dolezal, if she identifies as black, does that mean she is a member of a marginalized group? If the first criteria is only identification and not actual genetic testing, she would also qualify for being a member of a marginalized group then, because she identifies as such. She would then only need to live in San Francisco before 1996. So how many people live down there who are like Rachel Dolezal, have never been found out, who are going to get paid even though they're like white as white can be?
Oh, there's going to be so many. Oh, there's going to be a long line.
But it sounds like if you're a white person that identifies as black, that doesn't get you to become a member of a marginalized community, which if you're assuming
It
the
does.
black community.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
you only identify as it. You're not actually it. So it's different.
How do you prove it?
No. Hold on.
'Cause
This
there's
is why you're wrong. If you look at the criteria, it says an individual who has identified as black, African American on public documents for at least 10 years. The main criteria that you have to have is that you have to be 18.
Oh, okay.
And if that is their hard line standard, then I certainly believe the member of a historically marginalized group is a lower standard, or the same standard. In which case, if their argument is you have to identify as black, I really doubt they would change their view on what it means to be a member for a different part of the same criteria.
They're trying to lock out people that are black that identify as white. I think that's what that first.
by
Well-
letting in people who are white who identify as black.
And I'm trying to confirm
Yeah.
it right now, but I think Rachel Dolezal, as a female, could claim she's part of a marginalized group.
Oh yeah, boom, there you go.
Well, I mean,
Oh, and absolutely, women
What about
experience line discrimination, hands
Left-handed
down,
people?
no question.
Left-handed people. It's a
Mental-
No,
right-handed
no,
world.
hold on,
isn't
hold
it?
on. Women couldn't get credit cards.
Yeah. San Francisco recognizes women or sex discrimination as,
Yeah.
you know,
Oh, boom. So Rachel Dolezal, she is a member of a historically marginalized group. She's over 18. She identifies as black. So what else does she need? She just needs to have lived in San Francisco, and she would qualify for reparations. Dude, that is fantastic. I hope they give this money out, seriously.
It doesn't have like an income or a net worth
many-
criteria. You can
No,
How many
$5 million bucks and a $1 house.
how many people do you think qualify who live in city of
Oh,
San
man,
Francisco?
it's going to be funny because it's going to be like half the city.
Yeah, it's amazing.
People are going to be like, first of all, like almost every woman qualifies. Like, that's just it.
It's going to be worse than a bank run. It's going to
There's-
be wild.
But I guess you have to identify on public documents that you're black. So that's a big one because you couldn't have foreseen this. I mean, maybe some people could.
It's pretty insulting to the black community for people who are actual descendants
well,
of
we all know
slaves.
Rachel Dolezal, but I wonder how many people have been claiming they're black in San Francisco for years, right? Like, she's the one who got caught, but that doesn't mean she is the only person in America
Right.
who has done this. Like, I think there will be
Oh,
people.
so many people.
Yeah,
are
is it
going
Sean
to
King
now.
white?
He has never confirmed it.
The jury's out on that one. I don't know. I can't tell.
I mean, he looked white. And then there was that document, the police arrest report that called him white, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
My buddy's a black albino. Talked about him on the Victor Varnado. Shout, what's up, Victor? Yeah, albino dude. He's white as me, but he's black dude, apparently, whatever that means. But his ancestry is like African, I believe. It's wild.
And
There's, I don't remember what country, but there's a nation in Africa that has the highest rate of albinism in the world. It's like just a genetic.
They used to
common
think they were witches and they would like burn them at the
Oh,
stake.
even now it's incredibly dangerous because
Yeah.
there's all kinds of
still-
like
Still like that.
I don't know what to call it, but like lore about, you know, the bones or flesh of people who have albinism.
Wow.
I hope they do the reparations.
You do?
Yeah, because it'll
Yeah.
be really funny to watch from
Yeah.
afar. To
San
see all the white
Francisco.
liberals be like, the roads aren't paved.
Yeah.
And there's poop everywhere. And then they go to the city hall meetings and they're like, why isn't this getting done? And they're going to be like, because we spent $5 trillion in taxpayer money to give people $5 million. What did you think?
San Francisco needs to be punished. That place needs to be punished. God said he'd never flood the earth. Let's send this reparations bill instead.
You know, we should be careful about praying for punishment to the city because there might be an earthquake. That thing's been terrorized by the San Andreas fault line
well,
in the past.
let's not do that. Let's just make it absurdity.
All right. There are, as of 2021, 815,000 people in San Francisco. The metro itself is bigger. 5% of that population is black, so giving us around 40,000 or so people. So simply put,
40,000 times 5 million.
5 million. Let's do some quick math there. And, oh man, that's a lot of zeros. So what is that, 20 trillion?
What?
Is that 20 trillion?
Where is this number?
I think it's, is that $20 trillion?
That sounds fun.
So let me see.
It's
It's
commas up in that.
200 trillion.
$200 trillion.
Wait, 200 billion? No, I think it's 200 trillion. Trillion? Everyone in the chat's going to be like, dude, it's 200 trillion.
They're doing the math.
$200 trillion.
That's not even in existence. How is that?
Just a regular number.
Okay, to be fair, not every single black person in that city is going to qualify, right?
No,
No, because you have to be over 18.
but when you add in all of the other people who are going to lie so that they do qualify, could be even more than 40,000.
I mean, the other part is like, what if they roll this out, realize they can't, comply with the measures they put out? They have to say, wait, we're going back to the drawing board and making stricter regulations. Like, then
No, it's 200 billion.
Then the people who thought they were going to
$200
get
billion.
this payout are going to be livid.
Are you
right?
sure?
Yep.
I'm tracking
200
200
billion.
trillion as well. It's
Right.
You said it was
No, it's 200
It's going to be
billion.
crazy. That,
40.
I mean,
Right.
I'm sorry. 5 million times 40,000.
200 billion. 40,000 times 5 million.
Yeah, that's-
$200 billion.
No. That's trillion.
No, I'm pretty sure it's $200 billion.
I'm intentionally not looking.
200
I
billion.
don't say the
Look,
wrong
oh
thing.
yeah, you're right. 200 billion.
200 billion.
That's weird. God, what the?
Well, let's do something else.
200 billion. That's not that much.
Total budget for San Francisco.
Nice.
Total SF
5
budget
million.
2022. It's $14 billion. They're also going to give homes out for $1. I would like everybody listening to do the right thing and advocate for San Francisco to implement this policy. Make it happen.
What if it works?
Then great. Good for them. Why would I be mad?
Yeah.
Because then they'll do it to your city.
No, wait, what?
But if it works,
who
it's
cares?
okay. Yeah.
Like, all of a sudden, everyone's holding hands and singing songs under rainbows. I'd be like, well, I'll be damned.
Yeah.
It worked.
It'll be fine.
Problem
Yeah.
solved. But it's not going to work. It's going to destroy San Francisco, and I'm here for it. I'll get the popcorn.
San Francisco's already pretty shredded. It's an awful place right
There's
now.
poop everywhere.
It is.
Look,
It's
man,
not a good scene.
If they voted for it, they deserve it.
The first day I went to San Francisco, I was going to move there, and I parked my car and went to look at the apartment. When I came out, my window was smashed and my bag had been stolen with my laptop, everything. Lesson learned, man. Dirty city with a lot of desperate
That's sad.
people.
That's so sad.
Yeah,
Not so.
forget
So
that
hold
junk.
on.
Paying $4,000 a month for a 1-bedroom. Kidding me?
All right.
$3,000 at the time.
Let's say half those people are under 18.
Okay.
And half of the people who are over 18 were not born there and don't qualify. So let's just say it's $50 billion.
Okay.
$50 billion is still,
More
around
than
what?
14
Four
billion?
times their budget. So, but let's talk about the houses as well. Let's say they've got, that's going to be, what is that? That's 10,000.
What's their homeless population?
Oh, the homeless population.
So they're giving away $1
It's not, it's,
houses.
but yeah, but it's not that. I mean, somebody who's got an apartment's going to want a house too.
Sure.
So let's just do the math and say half are under 18 and of the remaining 20, half qualify. So you've got 10,000 people. And then what we'll do is 10,000 houses. And what's the average cost of a house in San Francisco? You want to Google that real quick?
Oh, good grief.
My guess? Take guesses. Mine's 1.2 million.
Yeah, look it up.
Average house.
I feel like it's higher than that.
It's gotta be higher
I
than
feel
that.
like it's maybe, I'm going to go 2.2 million.
Yeah, in San Fran, it's a very small jurisdiction.
The average house cost in San Francisco is around $350,000.
No.
Due to the
'cause-
skyrocketing real estate
And like
market.
that, I mean, I'm
can't be
thinking
right.
houses, but like
No.
apartments and stuff.
That's from Fortune.com.
That's
this
nuts.
is just house cost.
350,000. What, for your down payment?
That's wild.
1.2 million.
Okay.
What? The Fortune.
There you go.
1.238 million San Francisco home values, down 10%.
Ian, you are spot
It
on.
is down 10%. All right.
Yeah, so I think you may be looking at San Francisco Metro, which is massive.
Mm-hmm.
San Francisco in and of itself is 1.238
Yeah, it goes on
million.
1.35 million according to Redfin.
So let's add that to the number there, and that's another 12 billion.
Oh.
So we're looking
boy.
at like, I don't know, about $60 billion realistically.
Yeah,
I'm
but
excited.
It would be good to give people houses that want them, because biggest barrier to entry a lot of times to get back into society is getting a shower, not having access to clean water and a shower. If you can clean up, easy to get a job, then you can get back on your feet.
But for a dollar?
So it's like 350,000 people.
I want to help people
That's
too, but
called-
like not to bankrupt the entire city.
That's called projects, and they are usually not great places to live.
I think the Russians were doing it with farmland. They're like, if you want a homestead for a year, you can get, what number would you come up with?
They said it would cost the average non-person of color in the city around $600,000. So I did the rough math. There's 44.9% white in a city of 815,000, which is like 300 and some odd thousand, 350,000 times 600,000 is 210 billion. It all adds up. $600,000 per non-person of color in San Francisco. I seriously hope they do this because these people voted for it.
Asian and Latino people pay the same amount?
I don't know.
I bet they introduce a scale eventually. I bet
Yeah.
they're like, no, that's or like immigrants. If you're like, I just got here, why would I have to pay this?
So I'm not a fan of race wars, and this is going in that
Look,
direction.
look. If they voted for this, then they deserve it.
They do.
If you vote
They do.
to get a new playground put in your community, you deserve it.
It's the problem with representative
good thing,
government.
But they're
right?
not going to only charge the 600,000 to the people who voted in favor of these things, right? Like people who voted against it will also have to pay for it.
Yeah, dude, if you want to live in a city where they're telling you that you are an evil white supremacist and they're taking your money and you're like, okay, I guess, well, I'm not going to shed a tear for you.
You got to move. You got to move.
Well,
to the
check this
great-
out. Check this out. We have, I pulled up the demographics of San Francisco. 2020, it was 873,965. And then 2021, it was 815,000, a drop of 6%. Take a look at that.
What was the 6% drop in? What was it?
6% drop in population from 2020 to 2021.
Wow.
People left.
Yeah. Smart
Who
people.
wants to be there?
That is a big drop. I mean, that's like the last 10 years of growth lost in 1 year.
Smart people should
Thanks.
migrate.
You're right. It absolutely is around 10 years of growth lost in 1 year. Wow. And where did they go? Well, Arizona,
Florida.
probably.
Yeah.
Well,
Texas.
some went to Florida, the more conservative leaning ones, but a lot of them went to Arizona and turned Arizona blue.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
No, that's
Sadly.
5 decades of growth lost in 1 year.
People who don't learn their
no,
lessons.
no, Ian. That's look.
I looking
In
at this
2010 it
wrong?
was 805, in 2020 it was 873, in 2021 it was 815.
Okay.
So it's not 5 decades.
Right.
Yeah, if you go back 5 decades, you're looking at 740,000. So, the city hasn't really grown that much. You know what it is? They're zombies.
Yeah.
The left is a zombie horde. It's a zombie ideology. That's what's happening right now. And when they spread, they bring that to government. So that's why Arizona's turning blue, because people are fleeing California because they're zombies.
It's so sad.
Zombies
A lot
spread.
of my liberal friends have left California, moved to Arizona, and they are voting and behaving in the exact same ways when they lived in California.
How
Do you feel like, sorry, I was going to say, if as a person who fled California for a red state, like, do you feel like you get a bad rap because you also left California?
Well, I have a loophole because I grew up in Texas.
Oh, okay, never
Grew
mind.
up in
I
Texas.
withdraw the question.
I moved to California when I was a teenager with my family. So when people ask me where I'm from, I'm like, Longview, Texas.
You're like, I'm going back home.
Yep. Failed experiment.
How do you fortify libertarianism against mob rule?
Guns?
So you just threaten people?
No, I mean, I'm just oversimplifying it. I mean, give me like a scenario. You mean against mob rule? I mean, a well-armed society is a polite society.
Like,
that's not hyperbolic.
there's 10,000 of us all armed. 5,010 of them want to redirect the waterway to their side of the city.
I mean, you got to work that out. There's not a lot of scenarios where in the modern present day era, we just straight up go to war over a river. We usually have negotiations and policies and, dealing with things like that. But the reality is we don't live in a libertarian society right now. And if we were in a libertarian society, you're going to be much less likely to have people just going and engaging in mob rule and taking over waterways.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.